All right, let's get started. Obviously, you must get tons of questions about if you fought in this era, what would happen about this, what would happen about that. We know you're getting all those questions, and unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to take it, I got one of those questions for you.
Yeah.
Even given your popularity back in the day, how much more popular would you have been in this era, given the social media outlets that we have now, the websites, and just YouTube, all of that stuff? How much more popular would Ray Leonard be today?
It would be outrageous, totally outrageous. I mean, you couldn't even fathom because of what social media has created, has done. It'd be crazy.
I got you.
I mean, you think about so many people now. I mean, and things happen in not tomorrow, but like 2 seconds afterwards or 2 minutes afterwards. So things, I tell you, it'd be multiplied thousands of times.
Now, another question that I was dying to ask you, because I saw the special on ESPN, the 2020, I believe it's called, with Roberto Duran. Beautiful show, beautifully well done. I have to ask you, now, did you really carry all of that inside you for all those years? Because fighters will, have performances against other fighters, and, someone will say this, someone will say that. Fighters always make excuses after they lose, and I'm sure fighters that have lost you have made excuses, and nothing has stuck in your craw, or at least after watching the show, it seemed as though nothing had stuck in your craw more than this. Why did this man, this situation with this man, I should say, trouble you so much?
Well, it didn't. I didn't care about it for 40 years, but naturally, as an ex-fighter, athlete, whatever, you want to know. You still want to know. I don't care if it's 100 years. You want to know. You want to hear from him. You want to hear from that person. So did I make you quit? What happened? What exactly happened? Tell the world what exactly happened. But that's also could be a selfish part of me. Want to hear this man fall down on his knees and say, you freaking frustrated me. You made me mad. I threw my hands up in frustration. That's what I really wanted to hear. But the man inside of me, the person that's inside of me now, said, hey, you know what? You say you had cramps? Then so be it. And that's what happened.
I got you. Now, same thing with Hagler. To this day, does Hagler still say that he feels he won that fight? Will he concede at all?
Now what you asked me is so right, because Hagler, just like Joe Frazier, he carried it with him. He took it personal. Hagler blamed me for his loss, and I try to get both of us, or even the four of us, Hagler, Hearns, Duran, and myself, go on to do things and talk about these things, because the public want to know, especially those fight fans back then, the baby boomers, they want to know. Is it a close fight? Yeah, it was a close fight. Could it went either way? Yeah, possibly. It depends. You know what? It's so subjective. It depends on how you see it. Was Hagler aggressive? He, without question, was aggressive. Was he effective aggressiveness? I don't think so. So it depends. I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing, and that's what made boxing back in those eras.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask 10 people who won that fight. And maybe I'm a little biased, but I watched it about 20 times, and I always scored it for you 7-5. I just think that he made a tactical error in the way he came out. And were you surprised? That's another question I have for you. Were you surprised at his tactics in that fight? Trying to outbox you, trying to fight you orthodox.
But I made it. I got into his head. The thing I remember, and the press tour, I should say. If you go back and see some of the articles and whatever, I never see anything to piss him off, because I did reverse psychology, because Hagler creates this aggression with his opponents all the time. He gets so mad that he goes to camp with that attitude. Whenever I got to the podium, I say, this man's a great fighter, and you don't give him credit for being a boxer. You always think he's a slugger. I kept saying it, and the last thing Hagler said at the very last press conference, He said, you know what, I may surprise everybody. I may outbox Ray. Because I've been out of the ring for so long, people just thought I lost when I lost. But in saying that and convincing him, you know, he tried to, because he came out orthodox. And I mean, not saying if he came out left-handed, I would give me. I would have taken more time to get to feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But coming out orthodox gave me an opportunity to kind of, wow, thank you, Marvin.
Yeah, that was a gift.
It was a gift. Yes,
that was a gift. Yeah, absolutely.
Gave me time, and he didn't pressure me at all.
Absolutely.
Until late.
Now let's talk about your preparation for this fight, and please correct me if I misquote anything or get anything wrong about this, but I heard, to my understanding, that you did spar with Quincy Taylor, who was a southpaw back then, who was a WBC champion, future WBC champion.
Right.
Is it true that you did spar him without headgear on, and you had a real fight with him, and you had 8-ounce gloves? Is that true, or is that a rumor?
I did that with a number of middleweights. I did that.
Okay.
I put on big gloves, 14-ounce gloves, sparring gloves, and I had them put on 10-ounce gloves. And with headgear, I had no headgear because I made sure that I felt, I made sure that I remember what it felt like to get hit.
I remember you said that you wanted to do that. Exactly. Now, I'm going to piggyback off that, and I don't know if you want to divulge into this, but I don't know if you heard about the situation with Floyd Mayweather, what happened with All Access, and how, you know, they're having wars in that gym that going on for 31 minutes. And we spoke with Naseem Richardson earlier in the week, and he said, well, you know, that's nothing new. There's worse things that go on in gyms, obviously, but there's just not a camera around. Do you think that a situation like that is inappropriate for a professional fighter to do? Just throw people in there and go to war until someone drops? What is your thoughts on that?
You know, I saw that today, all day. I saw it today when I was coming home, and I was trying to understand what was the problem. Is it because they went 5-minute rounds, 10-minute rounds, like that?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I guess they went 31 minutes straight, and that was the controversy, because I guess what the commission had a problem with was that because Floyd Mayweather is a promoter, and they thought that was inappropriate for a promoter to kind of condone that type of stuff, having like
someone get hurt.
Because someone can get hurt, and just it's almost like unsupervised type sparring. But again, I mean, I've been in gyms, you know, and I've seen things, and I've actually done things myself that probably weren't appropriate, but there just wasn't a camera around. So I just wanted to get your take on that, if you think that they overreacted, or if, I mean, obviously you've been around. Is that something that you've seen before?
Listen, I think it's a little bit of overreaction. Listen, when I used to spar, I was sparring 7-8 minute rounds. Is that the same thing? I mean, no one got hurt, and it was fun.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, I mean, we live in a society now that everything is on air. Everything is visible now.
Yeah. There's always a camera or a hot mic around. I got you.
Oh, I know for sure.
And everything you do, there's gonna be repercussions.
So
now,
what was Mayweather's rebuttal? What did he say?
You know, this is another controversy, and you may find this very interesting, because I found this very interesting, as well as many others. Mayweather said to the commission, well, you know, what happens on that show is staged. It's not real. So it's kind of contradictory, because you'll see, you know, Mayweather on the show saying, this is me, I'm real, I'm not afraid to show who I am. But then in front of that commission, I guess he kind of questioned the credibility of the show, and came out and said, you know, that the show wasn't real. It was staged. It's not how we really are. It's like an act. So I guess they accepted that, and what they had said to him was, well, next time, you know, let us know what's real and what's not real, what's going on. I guess they accepted it, which was kind of bizarre, but I don't know. It's just kind of a weird turn of events. You know, I'll be honest with you, Ray. The only problem I had with it was they had a young kid, about 17, 18 years old, going up against a guy 25, 20, 26. Right. That kind of, you know, it made me a little bit disturbed, because after the kid was hurt and he was kind of staggering around, I saw Mayweather mock the kid. And to me, I thought that was cruel. So that's what struck a chord with me. You know, obviously the kid asked to do it, but you know, you have a young son, I believe, or you don't have a young son anymore, but you had a young son, and obviously when kids are young, they think they can do anything. You know, Daddy, let me jump off this cliff into the water, whatever, and that's when, you know, the older people have to take discretion for the younger person. You know what I'm saying? You just don't leave someone to their own devices. So that's just what I had. Obviously, I don't want you know Floyd to have to suffer any real stringent punishment for that, but I think a talking to, you know, would have helped, and just say, hey, you know what, you can't be doing this stuff anymore, at least not with a camera around. It's not something you want to portray to people. But that, you know, that's just my opinion. Again, maybe I'm a little conservative in that area, but that's what bothered me.
Yeah, I just didn't have a chance to look into it and give you an honest.
Yeah, it was a big news thing, I think, yesterday or the day before, but it's kind of died down now. But, you know, again, you know, none of us are angels. I mean, we all do things behind closed doors that people would probably be surprised about. But fact is again, as you said, there's always going to be a camera around when you're famous now, so there's nothing you can really do about that.
That is so true, yes.
And I have to commend you, Ray, because you've always been very open and honest about everything, and you've kind of bared your life to everybody. You know, how have you always been like that? Like, growing up, you just seemed to always just be so honest. Like, if you thought that you lost a fight, you would say, hey, I lost a fight. If you thought you didn't do well, you say, hey, I didn't do well. You never made excuses. When did you develop that? Is that something that you've always had as a young person growing up? How was that instilled in your character?
I think that it's something that you live that, you know, and I've lived that, you know. I've you know, like in my book, I made revelations about being abused as a kid, child, you know, and I try to keep that suppressed into my chest for years, and I did that, and it's not good. It's not good to suppress anything, any emotions, because what you think is bad, you know, what you think is wrong, sometimes it's not really as bad as you think it is. Yeah,
there's always something worse. I mean? Yeah, always something worse out there. Exactly.
There's always something worse.
Exactly.
And that allowed me to grow up, and that allowed me to mature, that allowed me to prosper, and that allowed me, because I lived it myself, I give that advice to another young person, kid, woman, girl, who could be dealing with the same thing.
Okay. Now let me ask you one more question about Floyd Mayweather, because I'm pretty sure you saw the Maidana fight. I'm assuming you did. Do you think that maybe that was the first signs of slippage in Mayweather, or do you think that maybe it was just...
Fight. You mean the first fight?
Well, even the second fight, people, you know, it looked, you know, he got caught with some shots that normally you would think he wouldn't get caught with. Even though he won the fight 10-2, believe it or not, Ray, he was kind of criticized for his performance. I mean,
yeah.
I thought he did well, but you know, I just seen shots that used to miss him by inches kind of touched him this time. I don't know. Did you see that in the second fight, or did you just think that? Okay.
Everyone's trying to find the Achilles heel of Mayweather. Everyone's looking for slippage. And some more so than others, they want to see him fail. They want to see him lose. You know, Mayweather is an extremely talented fighter, and he did what he had to do to beat Maidana. You know.
Yeah.
Maidana, he's a strong kid, young kid, and he still has a bright future.
Absolutely.
Mayweather fought a smaller fight this time.
Absolutely. Well, I got one last one for you before I go, because I mean, sure. I have the answer to this question, in my opinion. You know, in primes, I think that you would beat Mayweather. I think, you know, it would be a tough fight. You know, you could fight 10 times, maybe you would. In my opinion, you probably win maybe 8 out of the 10, in my opinion. But I just want to say one thing, because I've posed this interesting question to other people, because this is one feather in Mayweather's cap that I think that a lot of fighters don't have or haven't had. Maybe Bernard Hopkins may be the exception to this. Let's take a 37-year-old Mayweather and put him against maybe a 37-year-old Ray Leonard, a 37-year-old Tommy Hearns, you know, a 37-year-old Benitez, or a 37-year-old Duran. How does that play out? Because I have to give Mayweather credit for his longevity, and obviously...
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
And that's a very good question, and that's a very valid question. At that age, being the fact that, hey, I mean, I didn't take care of my body when I was out hanging out. When I wasn't fighting, I was out there in the street. The thing about Mayweather, from what I hear, he doesn't drink, smoke, or anything. He just do what he does. I don't think Tommy Hearns doesn't drink or anything. It's the ones that live another life, And rightfully so. We deserve that. We train, we work hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be interesting. The outcome would be whose night it is at that night, at that particular moment at 37. At 37, first you guys can get in that ring at 37 and look sharp.
Okay.
You with me?
I'm with you, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you completely.
What's happened to our damn heavyweight? Where's our heavyweight champion?
Where's our heavyweight champion? Well, okay. Well, let's talk about Deontay Wilder. Can he be that man, Ray? I mean, do you think that he has what it takes? Is he the package? Obviously, he's got the power. He's got the right hand. But does he have more than the right hand? He definitely has the personality. I mean, we've talked to him several times.
Where did he come from? What's his amateur background?
He was a bronze medalist in the Olympics, and he does have a decent amateur background, but he doesn't have something like an Andre Ward, doesn't have something that you had, but he was a bronze medalist. He's sparred with the Klitschko's. Every single one of his fights has ended in knockout. No one's I think been past the 5th round. That could be a plus or a minus. I mean, what's going to happen when he has to go past the 5th round? We don't know. Now, he's supposed to be fighting Bermain Stavern sometime in November, but I guess that got pushed back. Now it's going to go to purse bids. So he will get his shot at the WBC title, but we just don't know when. And this fight will be his biggest test. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, a lot of people are pinning their hopes on this man. I'm skeptical, but again...
Why are you skeptical?
Because I'm a guy who likes versatility. I'm a guy who wants to see what's going to happen when the guy's pushed to that brink. I want to see what's going to happen when the guy's eyes closed. I want to see what's going to... Yeah. When the guy...
No one can tell you that.
No one can tell you that.
Only the fighter can show you.
Exactly.
You can tell a fighter what to do when he gets knocked down. You can't show him what to do when he gets knocked down.
Exactly.
When he's knocked down, he gets up on his own. He positions himself to get up without stumbling.
Absolutely.
That's all on him. That's like on the job training.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, Ray, because admittedly, you've said you haven't always taken care of yourself. Now, were there times when you felt as though maybe I entered the ring and you didn't have it all?
I got it. No. The thing about it, I got in amazing shape.
Okay.
My head didn't coincide with my heart. You know what I mean?
I got you.
At that time, at those times in my life, I was going through, my marriage was decelerating, and things, your kids, you miss your kids, and life is not as sweet as it may appear to be. So you to be a fighter, you gotta. When you're young, you can block that shit out most of the time.
Absolutely.
When you get older, because you care now, and you care a little more.
Yeah. Things are more precious to you now. The little things mean mean more. Yeah.
Exactly. It means more now.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are. If you have a heart, it's going to affect you at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, in my opinion, I would say Tommy Hearns would be your toughest opponent in your whole career. Do you agree with that?
Without question.
Okay.
I mean, Tommy Hearns, that man, that's our first fight. And that's what I'm talking about. That last 12 rounds, I think it was 12th round, I got off the stool. And it was that moment that defined who I was. Really defined. It was the first Durant fight, but also the first Hearns fight that made me say, you want to do it? Let's do it. That's when you challenge. That's when people say. That's when your heart or your mind says, "All right, you want to show how great you are? Show them now. No matter how tall you are, no matter how badly you are left out of clothes or hurt, no matter how tired you are, that's what separates the men from the boys."
I got you. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, after that first Duran fight, were you considering retiring? Because I heard.
Duran hit me so fucking hard. I had contusion. I had a doctor come in my room and draw blood from my ears so I wouldn't cough loud. I was like, I don't need this shit. But and I was like, I don't know, 23, 24, 23, I think I was. Went away for a week, healed so fast, I'm ready to fight again. That's all it was. At first you say, oh, woe is me. And especially when a fighter's by himself, that's the worst time, especially when you lost. You could have won. It eats at you. And same thing happened. I knew I could beat Duran if I boxed him, but did I want to go through that pain again? That's the question. That's when you question yourself.
I got you. Well, I'm going to conclude with this last question. I know I said this a couple questions before, but you're just a great guy to talk to. What is going on right now in Ray Leonard's life? Anything special going on? Anything that you want to talk about? Any type of organizations you're involved in? I know you do a lot of charity work.
I'm glad you asked that. I mean, this is the next 12 rounds of my life, 15 rounds of my life, and it's wonderful. I started a foundation with my wife 5 years ago called Sugar Ray Leonard Foundation, and we raise funds and raise awareness for juvenile diabetes. And every year at the Santa Monica Pier, we put on like a little boxing show with a partner called B Rally, and they're like a bankers, they call it independent bankers, excellent guys.
Okay.
Michael King supplies the fighters. We need the Michael King now. It's King World.
Yeah.
Michael King, he's in boxing now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Mike has a fight coming up October 1st at the Barker Hangar in Santa Monica.
Yes.
So they say boxing is dead. Boxing is not dead. Boxing is just getting started again.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because just last week I was watching boxing on Channel 4, NBC again, regular NBC. So right. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think that could be brought back if the networks got, taking these fights, they could come back?
The networks will bring them back, those fights back, when those fights become evenly matched and more competitive.
Okay.
That's what it has to be. Sometimes these guys think it's about having an undefeated record. No, it's not. It's not about that. It's about showing up, fighting. And every now and then, move up a notch, raise the bar. Well, because people don't want to see a fight that they know 99% says he's going to win. They want to see a fight where I don't know. It's flip a coin. That's boxing.
Well, that brings another interesting question, because obviously we see fighters that want to protect their zero. Did that ever was that a focal point in your career? I have to be undefeated. I
never thought about that. I was going to be undefeated because I was going to kick their butt.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I never asked my guys, who will fight next? Or, what's that? I never just, you get me a fighter, get me whoever, and I'll fight.
Well, that's interesting too, because again, correct me if I'm wrong, but just by watching you over the years, you seem to me to be the type of guy that you needed a challenge, or you would fight down to the level of your opposition.
Exactly. Hey, yeah. You're so right. You're such a straight call, because even fights that Ray will knock this guy out. Like when I fought Dying the Line, he was the toughest fighter, one of the toughest fights I fought.
Yeah.
That bitch was big. He was up there.
Yeah. I was shocked when you stopped him, Ray. I thought you would win, but I didn't think you were going to stop him.
Yeah. Well,
I was shocked.
And And I was nowhere near 168 pounds.
No way. You had weights in your pockets, didn't you, during the weigh-in? Yeah, you put little 2-pound weights in your pockets, I remember.
Yeah, I actually had coins. That guy was so big, he hurt me so bad, so many times, I couldn't wait to relinquish the crown because I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't fight at 175. No way. You didn't have the frame for that.
Those guys were hurt.
You don't even weigh 175 now, do you, Ray?
No, I don't. I don't weigh 175 now.
And you can eat whatever you want, right?
Yeah, but people ask me, do I miss boxing? You know, I miss the camaraderie. I miss training camp. I miss figuring out guys. You know, because I choreograph my fights. I miss that. I miss that so much. Because it was nothing like it. When you beat the odds, oh my God, celebrate.
Well, that's just the thing, Ray. Because obviously, if we look at this $32 million a fight type contract that Floyd Mayweather has,
right?
And I'm saying to myself, and I'm being honest with you, because we're all human. And, you know, if you tell me, hey, can I work 4 hours and make $1,000, or could I work 8 hours and make $1,000? 90% of us are going to say I'm going to work 100% of us are going to say I'm going to work the 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ray Leonard is that guy, because I know Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard, in my opinion, I don't know you, but from what I've watched you since I'm 45 years old. I've watched you since I was 10. So the thing is this, you know, Ray Leonard in the back of his mind saying, if I'm fighting an easy guy, that's dangerous for me because I'm not going to be motivated. So even if you put $32 million in front of Ray Leonard and say you could fight anyone you want, I still think, in my opinion, Ray Leonard is going to fight someone who's going to challenge him because he needs that to get his own motor running. So again, is that an accurate description? I mean, you have that same deal as Floyd. Do you fight Pacquiao?
Oh, with the Pacquiao, man, that is the best. What do you call that? Encore. That is a great encore to your career. I mean, personally speaking, do we still want to see it? No question about that. But the thing about it, more people are naturally leaning towards will lean towards Mayweather.
Yeah.
Than Pacquiao, because at first, before Pacquiao had that devastating loss to Marquez, you know, it was only 50-50, was it?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe now probably maybe was 60, 40.
Yeah, maybe 65, 35, whatever, or something like that. Yeah,
35.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But it's still magic. It's still
it's still magic.
That thing would be huge.
But the interesting thing is, and I say this to a lot of people, you know, I always thought Mayweather would win, but there's something about me that thinks to myself, is there some type of doubt there? Because this is a man that, see, Ray Leonard needs that doubt. He needs that fear to make him work harder. This man seems to be a different character again. I mean, I'm not inside him, but just by my own perception of him, he seems to be a guy that needs to know that, you know, 99.9% sure that he could win. Ray Leonard likes to guess a little bit and think, hey, maybe if I don't do this guy is going to win. You know,
but I never ever thought I would lose.
Okay.
I never thought I would lose.
Okay.
I always thought there was always some way, somehow I could win. I always felt that. But it's a dichotomy. It's like part of me saying, I could lose, but I'm not going to lose.
Yeah. Well, he needs to know, in my opinion, that he can't lose. And I think, to me, this is what makes this fight extremely interesting to me, because I can break this down, the reach, who has the better attributes in certain areas, whatever, and I can break it down. And, you know, if it was a computerized fight, I think Mayweather would win 9 times out of 10. But the thing is to me, it seems as though there is some doubt in his mind. So it doesn't matter if I think he can win. Does he think he can win? Or is he comfortable that he's 100% sure he could win?
But that fight would generate so. It'd be.
Well, that's just it.
Because you can't even fathom what the thing would generate, and the fact that with Mayweather being as technically sound as he is, and Pacquiao being incredibly gifted with his speed. Even if he slowed down, and not slow down, but has become less committed, because knocked out that way, that becomes Achilles' heel somewhere.
Yeah.
Because you get a little gunshot. And,
yeah.
And it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But it's just enough handicaps, both of them, to make it fucking incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Now, when you came back from your eye injury, and I believe when you fought Kevin Howard in '84, was that a concern for you, the eye? I mean, obviously...
I wouldn't have done it, but I have the best ophthalmologist in the world, Dr. Ron Michaels.
Yeah, my ophthalmologist actually knows that gentleman. He spoke about him, and he talked to him about the whole situation, and
your left eye's gonna be as strong as your right eye. I mean, the guy. I mean, I wouldn't have done that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not at all. But you get back to your point. When I fought Kevin Howard, people thought I could beat Kevin Howard with my eyes closed because he was never in shape. That son of a bitch got in shape, and he was tough. He hit me too. I was like, this son of a bitch, he can fight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, Ray, it's been great talking to you. Is there anything you want to say to your fans? Anything that else you want to talk about or promote or anything?
Man, I've always said this to my fans. You know what? I had the best. I had the best, and still do have the best fans. And they've taken me from good times. They've seen me with good times, bad times, and come back good times. And I just thank them.
Okay. Well, Ray, thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And this is probably one of the highlights of my life because you are my favorite fighter of all times, and I tell people that all the time. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Take care, man.
All right, thank you.